Hello, my name is Andrea Temple Robinson, and welcome to my Training for Differences YouTube project. I decided to select Case 2 scenario. Initially, I will have a strategy conversation with the school administration to share how the ADDIE model and adult education concepts will be used so that they can understand the approach to their desired output. This meeting comprehensive and include instructional aids so that they can easily grasp the information and feel comfortable with the strategy. Next, we will move into the analyze phase. We will identify the need. We will have a meeting with school administration to identify the need to concretely determine which skills or concepts they want students to learn as a result of taking the course, reading culturally appropriate literature, and any other outcomes, both covert and overt. Any other applicable appropriate restrictions, such as budgetary or cultural needs, will be discussed. Beaux-Arts 20 questions will be utilized to assist in leading administration through this experience. We will then recommend a task force composed of representatives from all stakeholders to lead this change, which include administrators, faculty, students, and community leaders from neighboring cities. School administration will be tasked with creating the roles and responsibilities of the task force. Lastly, all gathered data and results will be shared with administration for review to confirm if it accurately details all agreements and to determine if it meets organizational needs. Students are involved in this process because adult learning theory states that adults should be responsible for their learning and involved in the planning and instruction. To support best practices regarding andragogy, students are identified as key stakeholders and will serve on the task force and be included throughout the ADDIE process. Design. With the task force, we will discuss their charges, roles, and responsibilities, along with the outcomes and expectations of administration. First, we will have an icebreaker and team building activities to establish positive working environments, trust, learn everyone's talent and their personal interests as to why they're present. We will then establish group norms to set the tone and environment. Next, we will have the same conversation regarding ADDIE and adult learning theories that occurred with school administration to assure everyone understands the approach to choosing appropriate curriculum and designing the needs analysis. We will design the needs analysis to delve deeper into the needs of the department, students, and community as it relates to selecting culturally appropriate content and virtual teaching and learning tools. To address culturally appropriate literature, Bennett's stages of diversity and intercultural sensitivity will be used. The facilitator will conduct a brief needs analysis of the task force to determine their familiarity, to determine the density of the content on which to train them on it. Next, we will create a rubric using Bennett's as a guide to review literature to determine if it's culturally appropriate. Literary elements such as tone, attitude, scenarios, and plots will be individually identified, described, and measured to determine the appropriate stage of either denial, defensiveness, minimizing differences, acceptance, adaptation, or integration. The group will also determine any other factors relevant to selecting appropriate literature and include it in the rubric. Works that contain literary elements that are considered ethnocentric or inappropriate by other identified standards will not be included in the redesign of the course. Both old and new literature will be analyzed in this manner. Focus groups composed of faculty, students, community leaders, and other stakeholders will be conducted to obtain recommendations for new literature. After collecting recommendations, the task force will select literature to review and analyze it according to the rubric to determine if it meets standard. In addition, through seminars and interviews with key people, the task force will determine any skill gaps associated with virtual teaching and learning. The committee will select appropriate gap analysis tools for diagnosis to learn from stakeholders which features they want in a virtual training program and the skills needed to design appropriate online instruction. Next, we will collect data and implement The group will decide how to delegate responsibilities to collect data related to the literature reviews and virtual teaching and learning. Next, the needs analysis will be implemented according to the design. Information will be analyzed to determine a list of acceptable literature and software features for virtual education. Then we will analyze the feedback. All compiled information will be reviewed by the task force and every individual that participated in the needs or gap analysis to confirm accuracy of data. The final output is a list of culturally approved literature and teaching software that contains features that meets the needs of faculty, staff, and students. Lastly, the school administrator group will review the needs analysis to be informed of the outcomes. Before moving to the development phase, the ROI will be presented to management with the financial impact of implementing the training as designed to seek approval from management to move forward with developing, implementing, and evaluating the redesign. Next, we enter the development phase of ADDIE. The committee will review the current objectives and that ensure that the recommendations from the needs analysis matches organizational goals. Learning objectives will incorporate Bloom's taxonomy. Instructional guides, learning guides, and job aids associated with the new course literature will be created. To assist with virtual learning, the task force will review and select a virtual learning program that best meets stakeholders' needs to develop training objectives and lesson plans to train people on how to use it. We then enter the implement phase of ADDIE. Instructors will teach the new course using the appropriate objectives and instructional aids. To encourage adult learning theory, the task force will recommend to instructors to allow students to select at least one approved literature as a reading associated with an assignment. The virtual training software will also be used to teach the course. Lastly is the evaluation phase. To determine the effectiveness of the redesigned course, the task force will track student grades, the number of students that enrolled and withdrew in the course, where they live, their experience in the course, and how they learned about the course. The group will review past data to create a benchmark for tracking data and use such information to create new goals, such as less than 5% will withdraw from the course, as metrics to determine the success of the program. Because we are using specific interventions through culturally responsive literature and online education to enhance the course, we will recommend Kilpatrick's training evaluation model. In summary, through the use of ADDIE, we can analyze the environment, its learners, diagnose the need, design appropriate training interventions, implement training, and evaluate their effectiveness at this local college. They should experience an increase in the satisfaction of relevant, culturally competent literature and also an increase in enrollment due to being available online. Thank you so much.